What's up, guys? My name is Phil Sarpong. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about a special topic of stress. Stress is a normal part of most people's lives. And in fact, stress is actually, in some ways, a good thing. You know, there's more adrenaline, there's more epinephrine that's pumping through your body. So that means that you're more alert, you're more focused. Now, when stress gets bad is when it turns into chronic stress. And chronic stress is when your body is at an all-time alertness and it basically can't turn it off. So even when you're trying to go to bed, even when you're trying to relax, you just can't seem to relax. You can't seem to calm down because your body is just at that on switch. So how do you turn that on switch back to off, to where you can relax, where you can calm down, where you can regroup, and when you can recharge? Now, you may or may not know that stress is tied into closely what is known as cortisol. Cortisol is basically a hormone that is released from the adrenal gland when there is some type of stress hormone, right? So let's say your brain senses some type of stress stimulus, like there's a big project that you have to get done for your job. So that stress stimulus targets your brain. There's a peptide called CRH, which releases ACTH from the anterior pituitary. This hormone goes into the adrenal gland, which therefore then releases cortisol. And so cortisol is released when the body is in some type of a stress mode. The reason that you need cortisol is that it is needed to regulate your blood glucose. When you are stressed out, when you are in a state of fight or flight, you need energy, and you need fast energy. And so that is where the cortisol comes in, to regulate those glucose molecules and to give you that energy, to give you that alertness that you feel right away. Like I said before, what happens with chronic stress is that at some point in time, cortisol levels have to come down. And if they don't come down, then a lot of bad things can happen. It's almost as if your body resets itself to these new cortisol levels, and that's when you start having problems, right? That's when you start having way too much high blood glucose in your blood. That's when you can't calm down. You can't seem to relax. You can't seem to sleep, and your brain just shuts down because it's working in overload. And so I wanted to talk about 10 things to decrease these cortisol levels and to help you with your stress. Exercise is one of the best ways to not only regulate your cortisol and your stress levels, but just to regulate your hormones in general. But research has shown that literally exercising does reduce your cortisol levels just by increasing the amount of oxygen flow that's going on in your body and that's going on in your brain. Number 2, in no particular order, is eating healthy. So nutrition is one of those things that it helps your cells just basically to just stay healthy, to not only survive, but to thrive and to overall benefit your whole body. The third thing that you can do is get plenty of rest. Studies show that when we start to lack sleep, enzymes start to break down in our body. So those are 3 physical ways of how to deal with stress. I'm going to give you guys some practical ways. Number 4, break apart your to-do list. Usually stress happens from an external stimulus, right? Like I said, it might be school, it might be work, it might be relationships. It might be that there's just a ton of things for you to do. Some of the best things to do is just simply to make a list. Make a list of your days, of your weeks. Try and figure out the best type of schedules that you can have to make the most out of your days. This will help alleviate your stress and will give you a game plan in how to be the best productive self you can be. Number 5, another way to be practical about your stress is to take notes on your stress. Taking notes on your stress actually helps you to become more aware of your stress. That way, when you do become stressful, you can do certain things to get your stress back down. A lot of times we don't know that we're stressed out because we're just keep going, and not really understanding the way that our body is working. So taking notes on your stress forces you to slow down, forces you to reanalyze and to evaluate yourself in how you feel in the moment. That way you can actually make an even better game plan if things aren't working out for you. Number 6 is asking for help. This may be one of the hardest things for a lot of people because we can tend to be self-independent. We can tend to not want to ask for help because we feel like selfishly we can do it on our own. But the truth is that everybody needs help at some point in their lives. And it's okay to ask for help, especially if it's from your close friends, from your family, from people that you trust. And in terms of you being vulnerable to those people, most likely they're going to be vulnerable to you back, and they're going to be more than willing to help you in some way. People that care about you don't want to let you go on and suffer. And so ask for help. It could be from your family, it could be from your friend, it could also be professionally from a counselor or a therapist. Get help if you feel like the stress is overwhelming. Now, the last four things are going to be all about setting your mood right, attitude, and not just overcoming stress, but conquering stress. For number 7, one of the best things to do and the best ways to overcome and conquer stress is to do what makes you happy. Now, this is such a key thing because when you're stressed out and life is crazy, you need to have something that you can look forward to, right? Even if it's just going on a drive, walking down the beach, taking a walk, taking a nap. Even if your whole life right now is stressful, take some time to make yourself be happy. Do something that you love. It could be cooking, it could be reading, it could be whatever you want to do, but spend that time for yourself. Number 8 is journaling. I love journaling. I think journaling is great. Sometimes we don't understand that there are some really dark things that we're going through. And what happens is that when we get stressed out, is that those things just get magnified. And it's important, again, to take the time for yourself to dig deeply into yourself to figure out what are the things that are actually making me stressed out. Is it external things or are they internal things, right? Because the external things you can't really control. But the internal things that you're being stressed about, those are the things that you can control. Those are the things that you can journal about, talk to someone about, and get help from. Number 9, which may be one of the most hardest things for so many people. Number 9 is be in the moment. Be in the moment. You know, a lot of times we're stressed out about either things in the past or things in the future. That's why things like meditation and yoga and just thoughtfulness and mindfulness, I believe, is so beneficial because it forces you to stay in the moment. It forces you to put things into perspective. Is this going to matter 50 years from now? Is this going to matter 100 years from now? Is this something that I'm going to be stressing about for the rest of my life? Or is this just a moment in time? Because if it is just a moment in time, I can stay in the moment and I can have that faith and have that peace of knowing that it will pass. Number 10, which is my favorite, is give yourself grace. You're human. You're not perfect. You're going to mess up, but that's okay. All right. You need to give yourself that grace. Forgive yourself. Love yourself. Cherish yourself. Pour positive things into yourself. That will help you to grow. It will help you to transform. And it will help you to get better and better over time. But nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to go well if you keep holding yourself back from that love and from that grace. So take the time and be gracious to yourself. And so with that, guys, that is my top 10 ways of how to cope with stress. I hope you guys liked the introduction that I gave about what stress is and how we actually feel it physiologically. If you want to know more about that, definitely check out my post. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, stay safe. I'll see you in the next video. All right, take care.